Hi, welcome to Self-Care on Board with myself, Geraldine Hardy for Yachting International Radio. So, how do you feel? How are the energies for this week? Maybe you have felt in the last week or last days some intense emotions. So we are entering Mercury Retrograde. And this is a time where certain emotions will come up to the surface, certain lessons will come up to the surface. And in order for us not to repeat these lessons, what can we do differently? What other choices can we make? When you feel you are under distress or challenged, or you go through a difficult situation, and there's certain heightened emotions coming up, like anger, go inside of them. As a trauma therapist, I can only recommend you, before you choose to suffer more, go inside of the pain. It's not going to be worse than actually doing the suffering that you have already endured. Especially for those of you who have experienced injustice in their lives, if this is any form of abuse, sexual, emotional, mental, physical abuse, this anger can maybe rise up. And if it does rise up, instead of acting upon it, lashing out, go inside of this anger. And what you will find is grief and sadness. Yes. And it is time to let that go. To really let that go. Go inside of this grief and sadness. From my own experience, and I just, my book is with the publisher now, and it's going to come out very soon. And it's actually my life story with my family story. And it's called The Moments That Matter. It pretty much, it's an act of remembering my healing journey and resting to peace the old version of myself. And these emotions, I used to run away from these emotions. I used to lash out and be the victim and blame someone else or the situation for me lashing out and not dealing with my emotions. And I was not able to continue doing this anymore. So this book is really exposing pretty much a lot of my own mistakes and the lessons I learned and the trauma healing and how I did it and what I've experienced. So stay tuned. That book is going to be soon on the bookshelf. It was always my dream to write this book, and I am so happy and proud of myself that I actually have done it. Now, I'll give you an example. If we have healed certain layers already, there will still be remnants coming up, and you will feel these really intense emotions, and they will come up in this month, where you feel like, wow, what happened? I thought that I actually handled this already, and it will come up. And it's okay when it comes up. I would recommend you to not act upon them rashly. I'll give you an example. I've been living in this really beautiful place here on this island, and we have a great community here, my neighbors. But there's one neighbor who loves excessive parties, and each to their own. As long as you don't bother other people, as long as you don't harass other people, as long as you do not make inappropriate comments, especially to women. And these inappropriate comments went into, you could actually call it already harassment. And I've been very patient in the last months, and even though I did not, I think, have one single night that I slept through in the past 6 months living here, I kind of go into meditation, I rest, I pray, and I see it if I wake up. It's something that I need to know. Especially when you go through a massive transformation and transition period in your life. It's very normal. But I do love my sleep. So today I was really on this verge, on this edge, where he really tried to provoke me. And as a woman, we need to know when to set our boundaries, and it's very important. Geraldine, the version 2.0, how I always call it, like maybe even last year or the years before, would have stayed quiet and tried to appease this person, please this person, to just reason and be, quiet and allow us to sleep. But this version, if someone says inappropriate comments that have any sexual connotation or any suggestions that are absolutely inappropriate and go towards violence in sexual abuse, then I speak up. And that's what I'm doing now. Then I speak up. Then I say, that's inappropriate. I don't allow you to speak to me this way. And I also don't allow people to approach me when they want to give me a hug. I'm like, no, just, hey, that's my private space. You're not going to get my energy. You're not going to get close to my body. And he's playing loud music at the moment again. And he's been pissing off the landlord quite a lot. Now, he just approached me there, and I tried to not get triggered. He approached me and he said to me, from a man to a woman, I tell you, I said, listen, you're not a man. Go away. Leave me. I think the old version would have never dared to do this. And maybe it's also because I started Muay Thai and Kung Fu that I'm not scared. But it is definitely not always healthy you need to always be aware of what your surroundings are. What I'm trying to tell you is that you will get triggered. There will be obstacles on the way. Before a breakthrough, there will be a breakdown. Before something shifts in your life, you will lose money. Before something is going to succeed, you will lose friends. Before you will be able to change your life entirely, you will feel alone. And you will feel these intense emotions. But know that you're not alone. No. And that when people fall away, when you have to learn lessons, these are tests. Let them. Let it go. Do not react. Choose to respond. Set your boundaries. Be wise about it. Now, we all know theoretically how to do these things, but what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Wisdom is applied knowledge. Exactly. And you will feel out of your comfort zone. And you will feel very wobbly. I love this word, wobbly. You will feel like, I don't feel like saying that. And it will make you feel like, what do other people think? Let them. It doesn't matter. We need to educate people how they speak to us, how they will treat us, and not the other way around. You're not a doormat. And these are the tests. It's like, have you learned? Have you learned of that lesson? Or do you need to do another cycle? So you will feel these heavy emotions. Like I felt like yesterday, I've been actually literally sitting on the beach for a couple of hours, releasing this anger, this grief, and this sadness. And I knew I was mourning the old version of me. And being in uncertainty, do not know whether I will succeed with what I do, but I have faith and trust and certainty that I will be taken care of. And that faith, which we call Ishvara Pranidhana. Yes, as a yoga teacher, know your scriptures, very important. Yoga Sutras by Patanjali. Yoga is not just asana, fancy headstands, handstands. Nope. It's actually walking the talk, doing the yoga off the mat. Sorry, little intermezzo. Now, Ishvara Pranidhana is all about trusting in something higher than ourselves. If this is divine, God, spirits, the creator, source, whatever that is for you, life. But it's important. And when you get these tests, how can you respond differently? The old version of me would have said, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm not going to sleep. It's okay. Now I'm like, not going to do it. But you also need to know what battles are worth fighting or not. And you know what? You will come across these moments that this person or that challenge will look like that you would be maybe the one who's exaggerating and overreacting. And that's the beauty. That's the typical part. For instance, my neighbor is apparently a social worker and he takes care of handicapped people. So he's like an angel. But behind closed doors, and this is what I'm saying about integrity and alignment. Who are you? Who are we behind closed doors? That is actually important when no one is watching. And I have experienced how that goes when no one is watching. But we obviously look bad because we expose people that's supposed to be good. What is your alignment? How do you speak to your neighbors? How do you speak to human beings? How do you speak to loved ones? That is the key. And I have learned that many people who are rough around the edges or say certain things that can be harassment or bullying, they come from a place, if you look at it from the compassionate way, they come from a place of hurt. And normally what happens is the abused becomes the abuser. And from a compassionate level, they have not reached that level yet, or that consciousness to wanting to heal themselves. And it's a challenging situation to how do you react? What do you say? Because from a compassionate level, like, listen, this person is in pain. Because only people who are in pain cause pain to others. This is fact. Yet again, you need to take care of yourself. No one can just walk over you. Any form of abuse. And especially this year, everything is going to get exposed. The so-called angels that look great as influencers and newspapers, everyone is going to expose. Absolutely. And this is Ishvara Pranidhana. Trust and faith. Sometimes a fellow healer and we say something which is totally inappropriate, but you know that I sometimes have my words, karma is a bitch. Sometimes we don't need to do anything, we don't need to react. Everything sorts itself out. But what is most important, that you don't take aboard any negative energy. If someone is treating you not well, do not take that on board and set your boundaries. So this week, take it easy. Stay tuned for my book, Moments That Matter. And I have created a new online program that you can find online. It's one-to-one private coaching session. It's called Embodied Awareness. I use the tools of trauma therapy and yoga-informed trauma therapy, talking, clinical hypnotherapy, past life regression session, movements, or Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, and dance. Because it all is going to address your multidimensional being, your physical, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, and your wisdom body. I wish you a beautiful evening, day, morning, wherever you are, and a good week. Stay calm, go into those emotions, don't react. Namaha, namaste.
Welcome, my name is Geraldine Hardy and I'd like to introduce you today to Alina, the Sanctuary. Alina is a concept that can be implemented in any existing property, a resort or hotel, a clinic or well-being center. We're going to combine longevity technology that you can find in stem cell therapy, infusions, peptides, and longevity technology machines with the ancient practices, including traditional Chinese medicine, yoga, Ayurveda, energy and frequency medicine, naturopathy, and homeopathy. These tools will be combined and formed into an individual protocol, customized and personalized to the patient to create a deep, profound healing journey. I'd like to share with you my journey. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a benign tumor in my left breast. My autoimmune disorder also came back. I knew I had to really embrace profound change and transformation. So I worked on my physical layer with the longevity technology, but on my emotional and mental layer, I had to change my belief systems. So I used traditional Chinese medicine, yoga and Ayurveda, movement practices, energy healing and quantum healing techniques, as well as past life regression sessions to be able to release my trauma, my emotional wounding that was the root cause of my diseases at the first place. And I thought to myself, if I can do this, everyone can do this. We see these days a lot of longevity technology coming up. It is almost a $7 trillion industry. What we are missing is really, how do you heal the emotional wounding, the trauma? And this is pretty much the root cause of any disease. With all of our partners at Alina the Sanctuary, we are creating protocols that will be individualized and customized to the patient's needs. Please join us on this journey that will be able to expand in growth immensely, and we are able to take the franchise to various different properties in the world. We have a light asset model, so we are offering the concept, not directly a property, nor do we lease a property or acquire an asset. This has been done deliberately. That keeps us being able to move fast in the market at the moment and be able to implement the concept easily and existing structures without having to renovate, to acquire an asset, or have any delays in building something.